Discovered: a poor girl's incredible fight as her father's lawyer. A heartwarming, life-changing journey begins. Lily Thompson stood outside the factory where her father had devoted over 20 years of his life. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the chipped pavement and worn-down brick walls, symbols of a life spent grinding away for a better future. When the bell rang, signaling the end of the shift, her heart raced with anticipation. Her father's face lit up like it always did when he spotted her. It was a glimpse of hope in a world that felt increasingly dark. But that world was about to change forever. Just when the Thompsons were finding their footing, everything crumbled. An influential businessman accused Lily's father, a proud Vietnam War veteran, of theft. An honest man, Lily thought fiercely, feeling the heat rise in her chest. Here was her dad, a man who fought for his country, now fighting a battle he didn't even see coming. The whispers in town became daggers. She could feel them cutting through her father's honor and her family's name. Her mother, already burdened with difficult days, drew closer to Lily. Their eyes met, and the weight of the injustice settled heavily between them. With determination burning inside, Lily knew she couldn't let anyone take her father's dignity. She decided then and there to be his defender. No lawyer, no training, just the love of a daughter forged in the fires of resilience. As she began to gather evidence, nights blurred into mornings, but each step dragged her deeper into a world she didn't understand: corruption, greed, and the ugly truth about their town's powerful elite. The more she fought, the more isolated she felt. Her school friends turned their backs, fearing the repercussions of standing by her. The loyalty she'd once cherished now felt like chains dragging her down. Just when the shadows threatened to engulf her, fate dealt a surprising hand. Tom, a former lawyer turned mechanic, noticed her unyielding spirit. With a heart touched by his own past, he stepped in, eager to mentor her. Together they formed an unlikely bond as they peeled back the layers of deceit woven into Jackson's fabric, all while balancing the weight of the townsfolk's judgment. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The days turned into weeks, and Lily stood before a crowd of worried faces at a town meeting, heart pounding against her ribs. This was it, the moment she could speak the truth. She laid out the facts, wrapping them in her message of unity and resilience. Just when it seemed the townsfolk might rally, the businessman made his entrance, arrogance dripping from him like poison. Lily's voice quivered as she clenched her fists. Could she hold on to hope? Would they listen? Tension draped over the room like a storm cloud, ready to burst. The question crashed against the walls of her mind. Would Jackson stand with her, or would fear cement the cracks in their community? As doubt loomed larger than ever, she suddenly realized the fight was no longer just for her father. It was for everyone silenced by injustice. Lily's voice trembled, but she could feel the fire building inside of her. With each word, she summoned every ounce of courage, determined to break through that heavy silence. This isn't just my father's battle. This is about dignity. This is about justice for all of us. The murmurs rippled through the crowd, a mixture of concern and reluctant agreement beginning to stir. But then, as if to counter her resolve, the businessman smiled, a cold, calculating smile that sent shivers down her spine. "Isn't it cute that the little girl thinks she can change things?" he sneered, his words like ice. The laughter from his supporters echoed in the hall, sharp and cutting, reminding her just how high the stakes were. Lily clenched her fists tighter, nails digging into her palms, channeling her hurt into strength. "Do you think we're not worth fighting for? Look around you. The people in this town, the workers who pour their hearts into every shift, we all deserve better." Her heart raced, each beat pushing her to rally the crowd. A few nervous murmurs transformed into reassuring nods, but doubt lingered like a fog. Tom stood at the back, his eyes locked on her, silently urging her to keep going. A flicker of encouragement in his gaze lit a match within her. What about the families who have been silenced, the neighbors losing their homes? Enough is enough. We can stand together. The urgency in her voice began to puncture the tension, and heads started to turn. Slowly, the negativity of the businessman's supporters began to wane. Some faces transformed from skepticism to solidarity, drawn in by Lily's raw conviction. She could feel the tide turning, the energy in the room shifting. As heads began to nod in agreement, murmurs of understanding began to fill the air. The businessman, now visibly agitated, narrowed his eyes. "This is a waste of time. You're just a child. Do you really think you can change anything?" With each word thrown her way, Lily stood firmer. "All it takes is one voice to start a revolution. I may be a girl, but this fight is bigger than any one person. It's time for the people of Jackson to reclaim their town." The fire in her belly blasted into a roar of confidence. The whispers grew louder, the crowd swelled in support, and Lily felt hope surge within her. She took a deep breath, ready to continue her plea, when suddenly a familiar voice broke through the commotion. "Enough!" It was her mother, stepping forward, tears brimming in her eyes, yet anchored with unwavering strength. "Maya is right. We are people, not pawns. We cannot let fear control us." With those words, she stepped beside her daughter, a silent act of solidarity that sent shockwaves through the crowd. "We have endured too much. It's time to stand with our family, with our neighbors." Lily beamed at her mother, overwhelmed. Together, they stepped into a realm of shared strength and determination. The crowd was uniting behind them now, murmurs of, "We're with you," echoing like a drumbeat of hope. Just then, the lights flickered, drawing everyone's attention away from the tension. And in that hushed moment of anticipation, a figure emerged from the shadows. The air shifted, a presence that felt both familiar and ominous. Lily's breath caught. "Who is that?" she whispered to Tom, eyes widening. "What happens next might change everything," Tom replied, gripping her shoulder as they both turned to face the unexpected arrival. The mystery was set to unfold, and the stakes had just become even higher. The figure stepped into the light, revealing himself to be a man Lily recognized immediately. It was Mr. Harris, her father's old law partner. His presence sent a wave of whispers through the crowd, a mix of confusion and curiosity that filled the hall. With his worn briefcase clutched tightly, he looked out at the gathering with a mix of concern and determination. "Mr. Harris!" Lily shouted above the buzz, her heart racing. Hope flickered in her chest. Maybe he had come to support them. Maybe he had a plan up his sleeve. "You can help us!" He nodded slowly, then raised a hand to quiet the crowd. "I know you, Lily," he said, his voice steady but strained. "And I also know how hard this town has fought against the greed of those who think they can take whatever they want. Your father would be proud of you today." The crowd fell silent, captivated by his words, the tension easing like the first rays of morning light breaking through a thick fog. But before anyone could cheer, he continued, "But I have news that will change everything. Your father, he didn't just fight for the workers. He uncovered something much bigger, something that could change this entire town." Lily's eyes widened. "What do you mean? What did he find?" Mr. Harris took a deep breath, his eyes darting nervously between the businessman and the crowd. "There's a reason they want to silence your family, a reason they've been trying to run you out of town. Your father discovered illegal dealings within the corporation, deals that broke laws and exploited workers. I wasn't sure if this would come to light, but with the right support." A thrill raced through her. "We can expose them. We can change everything for the town." "Yes," he affirmed, fire ignited in his eyes.
"But we need the community behind us. We need people who are willing to stand up, ready to fight back, just like you and your mother." His gaze shifted to the crowd, and he added, "Together, we can stand against this corruption." As Mr. Harris spoke, a spark ignited among the townsfolk. Heads bowed, hushed conversations took hold, and as the weight of his words settled, Lily saw understanding bloom in their eyes. They had been waiting for a reason to come together, waiting for a leader, and suddenly she felt like one. "That's it," Lily said, confidence pouring into her voice. "This is our moment. We all have stories. Your father fought for justice, but we need to finish that fight for him." She turned to her mother and Mr. Harris, their faces reflecting a shared passion, before boldly facing the crowd. "Let's put an end to the fear and take back our town." Cheers erupted, loud and unyielding, filling the hall with hope. Each person was now standing, a wall of humanity united, ready to confront the man that had longed to silence them. But then, just as the energy escalated, the businessman took a step forward, red-faced and furious. You think this is just going to go away? That you can stand against me? I have power, connections. I won't be taken down by a little girl in her outdated father's battle. Lily felt that familiar fire reignite, but now it was more than just her fight. It was the fight of everyone standing beside her. "We are the power," she shouted back, her voice booming with unwavering strength. As voices joined hers in unwavering defiance, a chilling thought crossed her mind. What would happen if they lost? What if the fight ahead would endanger them all? Mr. Harris faced her, a firm grip on her shoulder. "No matter what happens, Lily, we face it together." With her heart pounding, Lily nodded, knowing their path wouldn't be easy, but they were finally ready to take a stand. And as they rallied together, a new wave of emotions washed over her. Fear, hope, and something more, determination. What would their next move be? Would they truly expose the truth, or would darkness find a way to swallow the light? An exhilarating rush of hope surged as she realized only time would tell, and the clock was ticking. The cheers began to fade, but the intensity of the moment lingered. Lily glanced around at the faces before her, each one a reflection of hope and determination. Mr. Harris stood at her side, a steadfast pillar of support, as tension crackled in the air. "We can challenge this," he urged, his voice steady, "but we have to act quickly. The longer we wait, the more they can prepare." Lily felt the responsibility weigh on her like an anchor, yet simultaneously it sparked a fire within. She turned toward her mother, who stood with tears welling in her eyes, pride mixing with fear. "Mom, we need to gather the evidence. We need to find out everything Dad discovered." Her mother nodded, wiping her eyes. "You're right."
Your father kept folders in his office. If we can piece together what he had, we can put a case together. Lily felt her heart race. "Then let's do it." She turned to Mr. Harris, her voice rising. "You can help guide us, right? We need your help to understand the legal process." He smiled, the warmth of a mentor shining through the gravity of the situation. "Absolutely, but we will need more than just information. We'll need testimonies from the workers, too. People willing to stand up against the corporation." A chill ran down her spine. This was not just a fight for her family, but for every struggling worker who had endured injustice. Suddenly, from the back of the hall, a shaky voice broke the tension. "I've got something to say." It was Mr. Thompson, one of the older workers who had been at the factory for decades. His face was lined with the weight of years and regrets, but now there was a hint of defiance in his eyes. Everyone turned to him, rapt with attention. "I've seen the corruption. I've seen my fellow workers mistreated, their rights stomped on. I thought you were out of options, until now." Encouraged murmurs rippled through the crowd. More voices joined, one after another. Stories of exploitation poured forth, of missed wages, unsafe working conditions, and dismissals that came without reason. With every word, a weight lifted from their hearts. Each testimony was a weapon against the darkness, a light that grew brighter as they shared their collective pain. Lily felt a sense of unity swell, a powerful force building among them. This was their chance. She raised her hands for silence, and as quiet settled, tears brimmed in her eyes. "We have a fight ahead of us, but we will not stand alone. We have each other." The crowd erupted into applause again, more unified than ever. With Mr. Harris directing them, they formed smaller groups to gather information, compile stories, and outline their strategy. Every moment they spent together built a stronger bond, one forged in shared purpose. But in the depths of her mind, fear lingered. What if the corporation fought back harder than she anticipated? What if their lives were put at risk? Still, as she looked into the faces of her neighbors, she felt a resolve, especially for Mr. Harris. "You're not just fighting for justice," he said quietly. "You're igniting a revolution." And just as hope surged through her, a loud, heavy crash jolted the gathering. The door to the hall flew open, revealing the businessman and a group of his intimidating lawyers, scowls etched on their faces. "Enough of this charade," the businessman bellowed. "You think you can threaten me and get away with it? You don't know who you're messing with." Lily's pulse quickened, and she felt the air thicken with tension. Would they back down in the face of intimidation? "No more fear," she whispered to herself, summoning her courage. "We won't back down."
But as they stood at the precipice of confrontation, questions filled her mind. Could they truly stand united? What would become of this community's fight for justice? The moment had come, and with it, the stakes had never been higher. The room felt electric, charged with fear and defiance. The businessman's voice pierced through the murmurs, commanding attention and respect. Lily's heart raced like a drum, the rhythmic thud matching her rising anxiety. She could see Mr. Thompson narrowing his eyes at the intruders, lips pressed into a thin line, refusing to back down. "What do you want?" Lily managed to voice, her tone steadier than she felt. The businessman stepped forward, an intimidating shadow looming over them all. "I want this nonsense to stop. You're making threats you don't understand," he spat, his voice dripping with disdain. "You think you're the first ones to think they can take me down? I will crush this with every resource at my disposal." A wave of murmurs rippled through the crowd. Something snapped inside Lily. She stepped closer, steadying her breath as she fought the panic. "No," she said firmly, her eyes locking with his. "This isn't just about you. This is about every single worker you've trampled over, about families who have sacrificed and suffered because of you." She felt a surge of strength wash over her as the workers behind her began to nod, whispers of agreement mixing in with their nervous breaths. "You're mistaken if you think we'll back down," Mr. Harris added. "You can't intimidate us into silence. We know the truth now. We're not just a collection of voices. We're a community." The businessman's expression twisted in disbelief for a moment, then hardened. "You want to play this game? Fine. I'll make sure it's your downfall," he threatened. With that, he turned to his lawyers, and the tension in the air intensified like a taut string about to snap. Lily felt the insistent pressure of fear clamp down on her, but underneath it, a stubborn spark ignited. "We don't need you to stand tall. We have each other," she called, her voice breaking through the suffocating intensity. A murmur of approval rose from behind her. She glanced back, locking eyes with her mother, who gave her an encouraging nod. Each face reflected a mix of courage and anxiety, transformed by the belief that united, they could face anything. "Let's gather what we can. We'll share our stories. Together we can take this to the courts. We can't just sit and take what they throw at us," Lily said, her voice growing stronger. "We have more power than they want us to believe." With the businessman and his lawyers still looming, the workers' faces brightened, steeling themselves for the struggle ahead. One by one they began to share their own experiences again, infusing the air with hope amidst fear. Each story, each voice, began to create a wall against the encroaching darkness.
The businessman, realizing his bluster was crumbling, shot them an irritated glare before he turned to leave, but not before he issued a chilling warning. "You'll regret crossing me." As the door slammed behind him, the air felt different. It was thick with the combined adrenaline and determination of a community ignited. Mr. Harris turned to Lily, a glint of admiration in his eyes. "You did well," he confirmed, "but be prepared. This won't be easy. They will fight back, and we need to be ready for whatever comes next." Lily swallowed hard, the gravity of what lay ahead weighing heavily on her, but she couldn't allow herself to falter now. She looked at the group, feeling every heartbeat synchronize with purpose. "We have each other's backs, no matter what. We won't let fear win." In that moment, hope thrummed in her veins like a heartbeat, but uncertainty still lingered at the edges of her resolve. How far would they have to go? What sacrifices would they face to ensure justice? As they resumed their planning, the very real questions loomed over them. The fight was just beginning, and there was no turning back now. Little did they know, the corporation wasn't the only one prepared to go to battle. As the moon rose outside, shadows began to stir, hinting at hidden dangers they had yet to uncover. What lay ahead would push them beyond their limits, testing the very fabric of their unity. Would they be able to withstand the pressure, or would the ties that bound them begin to fray? As dawn broke the next day, the sun filtered softly through the grimy windows of the community center, casting slivers of light over a hastily arranged table filled with notes and papers. Lily stood, her heart still racing from the previous night's confrontation. The air felt thick with unspoken promise and lingering tension. The workers were restless, exchanging anxious glances as they prepared to patch together their collective story against the corporation. Lily swallowed hard, trying to shake off the remnants of fear that wanted to cling to her. Their voices had given her strength, but she still couldn't shake the feeling that the fight was only just beginning. She approached the group, gathering her thoughts. "Okay, everyone," she began, her voice stronger than it felt. "I know we're all scared about what's coming, but we need to focus. We have to put together our experiences, make it clear what we've all faced. This is more than just us. It's about the workers all around this town. We won't let them silence us." Lily glanced around the room. Faces turned towards her, hope glimmering in their eyes, mingled with a profound uncertainty that hung like a heavy fog.
Mr. Harris stood at the back, his former confidence appearing slightly diminished. "Lily, it's important to get these stories documented. Once we do, we can begin to turn the tide," he said, his voice steadying her.
Just as Lily opened her mouth to respond, a loud crash echoed outside the center, jolting everyone. Chairs squeaked as they spun towards the door. A crowd of onlookers had gathered, shadows mingling with the light, their murmuring a mixture of excitement and dread. Lily felt her heart race again, but steadied herself. She had just ignited a spark within this community. They couldn't back away now. They needed to embrace this burgeoning energy. "Let's see what's happening," she said, leading the group cautiously towards the entrance. As they stepped outside, the sight before them was something no one expected. A large delivery truck, emblazoned with the logo of the corporation, was parked recklessly in front of the center. A line of workers stood beside it, their faces resolute, arms crossed in defiance. "What's going on?" Lily called out as she approached. "We're here to stand with you," one of the workers shouted back, his chest puffed in defiance. "They thought they could intimidate us into silence, but we're not going to let that happen." Lily felt warmth spread through her. This was their moment, a clear sign that the fight was transitioning from whispers in meeting rooms to public defiance. As the crowd gathered, the energy flipped from fear to something energizing, like electric currents racing through their veins. The truck's back doors swung wide, revealing boxes overflowing with company uniforms. Uniforms promised to each worker before being snatched away in unpaid wages. One of the older women stepped forward, tears glistening in her eyes. "We waited so long for this. They owe us." Her voice carried the hurt of years of struggle and hope. Lily felt a mixture of anger and pride swell in her chest. This was a powerful moment, more than just about the uniforms. It was about respect, acknowledgement, and standing together. "Let's take a stand right now," she couldn't help but shout, clenching her fists to emphasize her point. "This is about more than what they took. It's about reclaiming our dignity." As cheers erupted around her, the crowd surged towards the truck, ready to claim what was rightfully theirs. Yet even through the sea of determined faces, Lily felt a thread of anxiety weave through her, a whisper of doubt about what the corporation might do next. Would this bold move push them further into danger? As the workers began to reclaim their uniforms, a sense of unity enveloped them, but Lily couldn't ignore the nagging worry. What would be the corporate reaction to this defiance? Would they retaliate, or could this be the turning point they needed to secure their fight for justice? The sun rose higher, illuminating their newfound strength, but the looming shadows of conflict were ever present. Lily's heart raced with anticipation and fear, not knowing how far they had ventured into enemy territory. Tension hung thick in the air, waiting for the first shot to be fired. Would they be prepared for the fallout?
Or was this just the beginning of a bruising confrontation that would test them all? The cheers roared around Lily as workers grabbed their uniforms, reclaiming what had been denied to them for too long. The scene was electric, people holding each other up, tears flowing freely. It felt like a dam had burst, flooding them with hope and determination. Yet, amid the joy, a shadow lingered in the back of Lily's mind, gnawing at her gut. Suddenly, the rumble of an engine cut through the euphoria. From the corner of her eye, she spotted a black SUV pulling up alongside the delivery truck. The atmosphere shifted, the air thickened with tension, and whispers of anticipation rolled through the crowd. Lily held her breath, nerves buzzing like a live wire. The driver's door swung open, and out stepped a tall figure. It was Mr. Caldwell, the ruthless corporate stooge who had made countless empty promises. Dressed in a sharp suit, he exuded confidence, his presence demanding attention as he surveyed the crowd. "Isn't this quaint?" he called out, a smirk plastered across his face. "A bunch of disgruntled workers playing dress-up? How adorable." Anger sparked in Lily's chest, a bright flame propelling her forward. She knew he was trying to belittle them, to draw out fear. But instead of cowing, the collective behind her drew closer, fueled by the fire of their indignation. "Mr. Caldwell, we're done being intimidated," she shouted, stepping up to the front line, her voice steady and loud. "This is our fight, and we're taking it back." His laugh rang out, echoing against the walls of the center. "Oh, I see. You think you can just take what isn't yours. Let me remind you, nothing is free in this world." His eyes slid over the gathered workers, gleaming with contempt. "You really think you can stand against a corporation that has the law on its side?" "Let's not forget what these workers go through," shouted Mr. Harris, challenging Caldwell's arrogance. Every day they face unsafe conditions, broken promises, and unpaid wages. This isn't just a story, it's a human right. His words echoed, stirring murmurs of agreement rippling through the crowd. The passion was palpable. But Caldwell merely shrugged, adjusting his tie as if dismissing them like buzzing insects. Human rights, is that what you think? All I see is a crowd of disorganized workers ripe for dismissal. And if you continue to push, I assure you, there will be consequences. My heart thudded loudly in my chest, drowning out her racing thoughts. I had to channel this fear into something powerful. If standing up for our rights has consequences, then we're ready to face them. The crowd erupted in unison, rallying behind her words. But Caldwell was unfazed. Then prepare for the fight of your lives, he sneered, slowly retreating to his SUV. As the door slammed shut, he glared back, his expression darkening. You'll regret this. As the SUV sped away, silence fell for a moment. But it quickly burst into loud discussions among the workers. Some were terrified, others boiling with rage. The stakes were rising. "What do we do now?" someone asked, their voice trembling. Lily felt their fear, but also their hope. "We stand even taller," she said, raising her voice above the murmurs. "We gather our stories, we get organized, and we prepare for what's coming. We can't let intimidation shatter our resolve." Determination spread through the crowd, igniting fire in their eyes. They wouldn't back down now. It was about more than uniforms. It was about their lives, their dignity, their future. But just as they began to share their voices, a police siren wailed in the distance, pulling Lily's focus. Was this the response they feared? Would the cops come to silence them? The threat loomed heavy in the air. Would they brace for authority's grip, or could they transform this fear into a rallying force powerful enough to turn the tide? The crowd's energy buzzed with anticipation, yet a prickly uncertainty clung to Lily. This was far from over. The siren's wail grew louder, slicing through the tense air like a knife. Lily turned to the crowd, nervously scanning the faces around her. Their expressions were a mix of steely determination and apprehension. The weight of what lay ahead settled heavily on her shoulders. "Stay calm," she urged, hoping to quell the rising fear she felt in her own heart. "We're here to stand together. They can't take that from us." A few heads nodded, but doubt lingered like a thick fog. She noticed Mr. Harris, his brow furrowed, fists clenched at his sides. "What do we do if they come for us? I hear the cops aren't here to help us. They're here for him." A familiar voice chimed in from the back. It was Mia, a single mother who had fought her own battles for her children's future. "We can't let fear win," she shouted, her voice breaking through the heaviness. "We've already suffered enough. Now we have a chance to change everything." A ripple of agreement passed through the group. It was small but significant. Lily felt a spark ignite at the core of her chest. They wouldn't back down without a fight. "Okay, let's come up with a plan, but we need to be smart about this." As they formed a loose circle, voices began to overlap, everyone sharing ideas, fears, and hopes. Lily felt the air shift. Hope was rising like sunlight breaking through thunderous clouds. They talked strategy, discussed gathering testimonies, and organizing meetings. It felt empowering to see each face, once passive, now alive with purpose. "Let's create a petition," suggested Emma, a quiet worker with strong convictions. "We could gather signatures from our community and take it to local media." "Yes," someone shouted, and the crowd buzzed positively. "We can reach out to those who have been laid off and include them too." Lily smiled, feeling the strength that surged among them. They were becoming more than just a crowd. They were a movement. But just as they began to feel the thrill of possibility, the approaching sirens made themselves known again. This time, the flashing lights could be seen, piercing through the fading daylight. A squad car rolled to a stop, and two officers stepped out, authoritative and poised. "All right, folks, what's going on here?" one of the officers barked, hands resting casually on his belt. Lily felt a surge of dread wash over her. They didn't need this now. "We're simply gathering to talk about our rights," she called, trying to sound more confident than she felt. "Rights?" the officer scoffed, an eyebrow raised. "Sounds like a recipe for trouble. You need to disperse, or we'll remove you all." The collective gasps echoed like an alarm. The crowd began to shuffle, whispering frantically. Lily's breath caught in her throat. "No, we can't," urged Mia, clutching her son tightly. "We deserve to have our voices heard." "What's it going to be?" another officer chimed in, eyes narrowed. "Are you going to clear out, or are we going to have a problem here?" Lily's heart raced. Would they let fear dictate their fate? The choice hung in the air, thick and heavy. She thought of everything they had fought for, the stories they carried in their hearts.
They couldn't be silenced. This was the moment that could define them. With every ounce of courage she could muster, she stepped forward, heart pounding. "We won't be silenced," she shouted, her voice cutting through the uncertainty. "We are standing together. You can't push us around anymore." The moment felt electric. The eyes of the crowd turned to her. Would they rally with her or crumble under pressure? In that charged silence, where fear and hope intertwined, she held her breath, waiting for an answer that could shift everything. What would the crowd decide? Would they hold their ground and keep fighting, or would the weight of authority break their spirit? Lily's heart thundered in her chest as she stood firm, her words hanging in the air like a beacon. She could feel the anxious energy pulsing through the crowd, a mixture of fear and defiance. The officers, towering and authoritative, scanned the faces before them, their expressions unreadable. "We have the right to gather," shouted Mr. Harris, his resolve building. "We are not here to cause trouble. We want to share our stories." Somewhere behind him, a voice quivered with bravery. "We are the community. We deserve to be heard." Murmurs of agreement rose among the crowd, pushing against the pressure of the officer's presence. Lily felt it, a swell of unity that could not be ignored. She glanced at Mia, whose eyes shone with determination. The little boy in her arms peeked out, sensing the tension. The lead officer shifted his weight, gauging the crowd's energy. "Listen, we're giving you one chance to disperse peacefully," he said, but his voice lacked the same confidence he had just moments earlier.
"Or what?" Lily blurted, nearly choking on her courage. "What will you do? Arrest us for wanting to speak our minds?" The words hung in the air, sharp and daring. Too quiet, then too loud. The tension crackled beneath the surface. But they were ready for whatever came next. It wasn't just about them anymore. It was about every person who struggled under the weight of indifference, every face that had felt ignored. Someone shouted from the back, "Lily, lead us, we're with you!" And just like that, the quiet power of the group flashed brighter. They were no longer just individuals. They were a wave of conviction. "Everyone, hold hands!" Lily shouted, her voice desperate but clear. "We stand together!" Hands reached out, tightening the circle, forming a ring of solidarity. Every palm pressed against another. Even protesters moments ago were now uniting in purpose. The officers exchanged glances, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. Maybe they hadn't dealt with this kind of strength before. Maybe they didn't expect the community to fight back with such unity. "All right, if you disband now, I can assure you that there won't be any trouble," the second officer warned, glancing nervously at his partner. "No more dispersals, no more backing down." Lily's voice soared above the chatter. "Our lives matter, our stories matter. The scraps we've been allocated for too long are no longer enough." With that declaration, the crowd erupted. Shouts and cheers echoed through the streets, as if they were finally raising their voices for the first time. The light of dusk illuminated their faces, a radiant glow of hope and defiance. Lily felt herself lifted, buoyed by the sheer force of those around her. They were ready to face the consequences. And just as the officers began to step closer, tightening their grips on their radios, Lily's heart skipped. Would they actually confront the police? What would happen if they did? Push back, she thought. But it was not just about her. The moment had crystallized, and the junction of fear and courage was now inseparable. Suddenly, something unexpected happened. A voice from further back broke through the commotion. "Hey, look at the news!" A cell phone was raised, its screen catching everyone's attention. As the officers hesitated, the body of the crowd surged against them, pulled by curiosity as it spread across the front line. Lily held her breath, fearing the worst as every eye turned toward the device. Was the news on their side? What broadcast could change everything at this pivotal moment? The crowd shifted, a wave of anticipation flowing toward the tiny screen. The phone displayed a live feed of their gathering, the caption reading, "Workers Unite, Voices Rising Against Injustice." The faces lit up with shock and exhilaration, their struggles now broadcast for everyone to see. There they were, defiant and proud, on screen, their determination captured in vivid color.
It was as if the world outside their small town had paused to listen. Cheers erupted again, filling the space with electric energy. The police officers exchanged worried glances, not used to seeing such solidarity unfold before them. For Lily, the sight was monumental. Hope unfurled like petals blooming in spring, brighter than ever. This was it. They had a platform now. "Look, they're covering us!" shouted someone. The crowd pressed closer, eyes glued to the screen, feeding off the surge of encouragement. "This isn't just local news, this is bigger," another voice chimed in. With that, something shifted. The officers stepped back, caught off guard by the growing momentum of the crowd. They seemed uncertain, no longer the figures of authority intimidating the masses, but mere spectators to a revolution unfolding before their eyes. Lily seized the opportunity. "We are tired of being silenced. For too long our pain has been ignored. But today we stand united and we demand justice." Her voice rose unapologetically, and the intensity of her resolve seemed to flow into those around her, hearts beating in sync. Each resonating word sparked inspiration, sparks igniting into flames. "We will fight for those laid off. We will fight for every worker treated unfairly." With every shout, it felt as if they were peeling back the shrouds of oppression, layering their community in strength and resilience. The officer stood there, now clearly apprehensive. The realization dawned that this was no longer a mere gathering. It was an undeniable wave of collective determination. Suddenly, the sound of a camera clicking echoed through the air. A local news crew had joined, drawn by the magnetic draw of the gathering, adding another layer to their cause. Laughter and shouts broke out as a few courageous souls waved, striking poses, showing their resolve. "Get ready for the spotlight!" Lily laughed amidst the chaos, adrenaline pumping through her veins. It wasn't just about bringing attention to their struggles. It was about transforming their pain into power, their stories into a manifesto for change. As the police hesitated, unsure how to respond, a voice from the back rang out, "We'll show them what unity looks like." And just like that, the group surged forward, marching towards the police vehicles, hands tightly gripped together. It felt like a dam had burst, years of disillusionment and disappointment flooding out as they showcased their unwavering spirit. "Together!" Lily shouted, leading the charge. Behind her, people shouted back, "Together!" as if declaring war, not on one another, but on the systems that had failed them. And there it was, a moment of realization for Lily and all who dared to dream of change. This was more than standing against authority. It was a testament to love, loss, and unity. "Let the world see us!" Lily exclaimed, exhilaration coursing through her. The crowd roared in affirmation.
They weren't just fighting for recognition. They were declaring their existence, demanding the world to witness their truth. And in that moment, amidst flashing cameras and echoes of shared voices, something changed. A spark ignited, spreading light across the town, a something they couldn't ignore any longer. Hope intertwined with purpose, drawing them together in ways they hadn't imagined possible. As the vision of a united community filled her heart, Lily finally felt, despite the fear that loomed ahead, they were on the cusp of something extraordinary. The battle wasn't over, and no one knew what tomorrow held. But one thing was clear: they wouldn't walk this path alone. This was the birth of a movement, and it was more beautiful than she ever could have dared to dream. Time surged forward, and as they stood grounded in the promise of unity, they were ready, ready to face the tide, ready to forge ahead together, ready to reclaim their town, their stories, and their future. And as the sun dipped low, casting a warm glow over Jackson, they stood side by side, hearts beating as one, ready to take their fight to the world, a world that was finally starting to listen. Now, there's one last thing you need to do. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories with transformations like this. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. You can make a difference, I promise. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending below. Your voice matters. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Let's spread the word.